Welcome to our latest episode of Tyden Talks. In this episode, we are rejoined by our Senior Vice President of Global Sales, Phil Whitley. Now, I'm expecting many of our followers recall our company history series that we started with Phil last year. So today we picked that series up at the 2000s, reflect on our company and the industry history during that time, and bring us up to the present day. So, Phil, welcome, and thank you for joining us on Tyden Talks.
Well, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate the invitation. I'm eager, happy to present on this podcast. So I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for inviting me.
Great. Well, thank you. And so, being our pre-150th celebration week, which begins next week, March 20th, I'm of course excited to cover this time of our company's history, as it's not only when I joined the company, but it was also a time of major industry regulations. We introduced some important new security products and solutions. Although it's never easy and pleasant way to begin any discussion, but the 2000s was clearly a turbulent, challenging time for us. Tragically, of course, beginning with 9/11. Devastating time, obviously, and impacted the whole world. But it also significantly impacted our industry due to many new security regulations. So I was hoping you could share some specifics on those regulations with our listeners.
Okay. I guess I would go back to, not the 9/11 period, as you mentioned. And obviously, prior to 9/11, there was no program such as CTPAT, which we have today. And as everyone knows, CTPAT stands for Customs and Trade Partnership Against Terrorism. And, basically within a few days after the events of 9/11, major auto companies such as Ford and GM and Chrysler, they were in President Bush's office complaining about the closed borders and ports into the U.S. Because if you remember, immediately after that attack, all the borders were closed. And you can imagine major auto companies have a lot of auto parts coming into the U.S. From Canada and Mexico parts locations. And it's all, just-in-time shipments. And so the closed borders created a huge problem for that. So, CTPAT was created. And as part of CTPAT, the international supply chain community started looking for standards, if you will, security seal standards to manage the type of security seals that would be used in various companies' global supply chains. And at that time, there was only an American standard, the ASTM standard. I believe the number was ASTM 1157, and it was actually a standard for testing and rating of different types of security seals. And because this now became more of an international trade issue, it was determined that an international standard was needed. So a working group for an ISO standard was proposed and put into place. I know at TydenBrooks company, we had people on the ISO, the first technical committees as a draft was, to create an international standard, which today everybody is familiar with, which is ISO 17712. And those type of regulations, again, never existed prior to the early 2000s and after 9/11. That's what we have today, and that's what everybody in the international supply chains of today, sort of work through.
Yes, exactly. It was, starting at that time, obviously, it was not only new to me, but new to everybody. And, unquestionably compelling time for the company and our industry. And of course, during that time or shortly thereafter, I would think 2005, 2011, there was a lot of different organizational developments going on. And of course, we eventually introduced, our FlexiCure cable seal product line. And There was discussions about RFID and technology type of seals, very nascent up until I think at that time, but possibly you could discuss some of the organizational changes, and then we could jump into the FlexiCure and maybe have a little bit of a discussion on the RFID and technology seals.
Sure. Well, during that time, let's call it the 2005 to 2011, those of us at the old E.J. Brooks company, were busy working with customers and developing products for all types of security applications and chain of custody applications. But our current organization, TydenBrooks, goes back to the 2005 timeframe when Tyden was acquired by a private equity firm by the name of Crimson Investment Group. And at that time, Tyden Group was formed. And again, that was in the summer of 2005. And that business began to grow. And then fast forward to 2009, the same private equity organization acquired E.J. Brooks Company, which is the company that I'd worked for at that time. And we merged the, Tyden and E.J. Brooks Company into one company at the end of 2009, and that became TydenBrooks. And so we started on that project in late 2009, and a very short period of time later, we also acquired the third largest security seal manufacturer in the world, Stoffel Seals Company, and we integrated that into TydenBrooks. And so with Stoffel, they had another entity in Canada called Canada Mayer that ran separately, but that also was merged. So you can imagine between 2010 and today, we had a lot of efforts around integrating those companies. So we basically integrated workers from the three largest seal manufacturers in North America. We merged together different internal departments, attacked different markets around the globe. We continue to expand the business by consolidating our product lines and our footprint. So today, at TydenBrooks, we have a truly global supply chain and go-to-market sales channel with our offices in North America, including Canada and Mexico, as well as Latin America and the European Union. And so that's the TydenBrooks of today. During that time, cable seals were a big part of our business already, but the ISO 17712 expanded the market and the demand for high security cable seals as companies, government entities like U.S. Customs and Border Protection began to require high security seals for use on all shipments that cross borders, whether you were a truck, a rail car, or a maritime shipping container. So that market expanded, and we expanded with that. And, prior to that, we had high quality zinc manufactured cable seals, which we still manufacture and sell today. But we also developed a product called a FlexiCure, which is an aluminum-based product with a zinc locking mechanism and very similar aircraft quality cable. But with the FlexiCure, we had some new built-in tamper-evident features, as well as supply of various colors via the anodized aluminum bodies. And we're also able to improve the way they were marked with laser marking technology. So you've got really good marking resolution, whether it was a company name, a logo, or alphanumeric, consecutive seal numbers are all directly marked in that. And so that product is a big part of our cable seal offering today. So we go to market with a good, better, best approach with our cable seals. So we're definitely not a one size fits all like a lot of our competition tries to do. So we have multiple choices under that good, better, and best strategy.
Clearly, there was a lot of acquisition and consolidation during that time. Yet there was a great deal of developments that seemed to be driven by the market demands and expansion. As you said, globally our industry expanded, and really much like today, due to the continuing rise of theft and pilferage, but also as a result of new regulations such as FSMA, we see a demand for enhanced cargo capabilities such as GPS visibility, condition monitoring. So, with that new heightened focus on these advanced technologies, possibly you could discuss how we're continuing to lead the way with these connected cargo devices and solutions.
Yes. I think it gives us an opportunity to create what I would call better solutions, to address cargo theft and pilferage in our country. I think the way we feel about it, Jeremy, is, we're the world's largest manufacturer of security devices that go on the outside of the truck. So basically, we own that segment of the market on the outside of the truck. But, there's other issues inside the truck that can create damage and loss of product also. So there can be, damage from rough handling in the shipment, and things like impact and shock can affect products that are in cases on pallets inside the truck. So our latest approach is to have more of a connected products or a condition monitoring solution that involves both the inside of the truck and the outside of the truck. So inside the truck, we have products that can be used to determine if there was impact, excessive impact, or some type of shock or vibration that could create damage, freight damage inside the trailer, as well as, and these range from simple mechanical type devices, to electronic devices that provide, not only location data, but condition monitoring, such as temperature and light and things like that. And so we want to offer as a total solution, protection on the inside of the trailer as well as security on the outside of the trailer. So some of our products are, some of the GPS devices and other high security electronic bolt seals, such as our GeoBolt that goes on the outside of the load. That's our strategy today, is to focus more on the total trailer load, the condition monitoring both inside and outside of that trailer.
Yes, absolutely. And it's, it's definitely an important segment of our company's future. Into that, I know we're both, looking forward to that next chapter of our company's legacy with our new owners, Madison Industries, which of course took place last April in 2022. So to kind of close out today's podcast, I was wondering if you could share some details with our listeners about Madison, and how being a part of such an exceptional entrepreneurial company creates an amazing future for not only customers, but our employees.
Yeah, great, Jeremy. That's the subject that we're extremely excited about. We're coming up on our 150-year anniversary. So for 100+ years, we were privately held by a family, such as the Brooks family. Then for another 12 to 13 years, we were owned by private equity and managed by that entity. But now in the new chapter of our history, the current chapter, we're so thrilled to be part of Madison Industries, which is one of the largest, privately held, I'm going to use the word conglomerate, company, because we have lots of sister companies now. And Madison has their business organized into various platform businesses. And so with the acquisition of TydenBrooks, we were placed on a platform called Safety and Flow. And this platform, we're the first security company that goes on that platform. Several other ones are more safety related from the aspect that they make different types of hydraulic tools, as an example, for first responders that are used in automobile accidents and racing track accidents and things like that. So that's their way of approaching safety. At TydenBrooks, with security seals, you secure loads and you prevent contamination and things like that. You're not necessarily just protecting against theft. You're protecting against a contamination and our business is all about protecting the chain of custody for our customers, whether it's in a security environment or a safety environment. And Madison's mission statement is, and our goal is to make the entire world safer and healthier and more productive. And so we're thrilled to be part of that safety portion of Safety and Flow. So it's definitely a new chapter. We have a lot of new people, but we also have a lot of new sister companies that we can learn from and contribute to their success. We're just really excited. You know, I believe I've been doing this for a long time, but I feel like now we have the most brightest future that we've had in the last 150 years is today because of our new ownership. So obviously, we're real thrilled about it and excited to talk about it.
I agree. Absolutely. And I feel the absolute same way. Excited for the future. And, again, thank you for such a terrific discussion. And I look forward to future podcasts. Hopefully, we might be able to slip in one more maybe this year. I know that depends on your schedule. But, thank you for sharing insights today on the podcast.
Jeremy, thanks again for inviting me. Always a pleasure, obviously, to spend time talking with you, but it's always a pleasure to talk about our business too. So anytime I can help, please reach out to me.
Outstanding. And to our listeners, kindly follow our podcast on your favorite platforms. If you wish to learn more about TydenBrooks, we are on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. And please also take a moment to review our websites at TydenBrooks.com and TydenBrooks.uk.